Bobby Bone, Roger Williams. Hey, what's up? We're gonna review the classic Spike Lee joint. He Got Game. Oh, it's one of the best movies ever. And I think this movie gets underrated. I really do. I still do.
Mhm.
I think it's, now you might say, you might get mad at me, but this is his best film. This is Spike Lee's best film. I don't care what no one
Whoa,
says.
whoa.
Now, listen, I love Crooklyn. I do love Crooklyn. Crooklyn would be second to me. Some people do like Do the Right Thing.
Mhm.
Um, but I gotta give it up for He Got Game. But before we start this recap, revisiting the classic, I want to introduce my guest, William.
What up,
Tell him about your channel, Road to William on YouTube.
yo? I was about to be like, welcome back. um, Road to William. I've been on my movie review kick, but it's really a one-stop shop. I do interviews, reviews. We go back in history, find some people who were grassrooting in the game and help lead the way. So we do a little bit of everything, but yeah, I've been on my movie kick, so head over there and vibe out with me.
Yeah. Just revisited Menace to Society.
Hmm.
I still gotta watch the review on Holiday Heart. I haven't seen that in a minute, you know. So many movies. We Grown now. I think that's the Netflix movie. Yep. Lot of different stuff. Go check it out. Oh yeah, and make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I always forget to say that in the beginning. But how I like to do movie reviews is I like to start by saying, what's one word? If you had to pick just one word, just one, to describe the movie He Got Game, what would it be? I have no idea because there's so many themes. Would you like to go first or me?
I would say power.
Power, okay. Elaborate on that.
Um, Power because no, everyone thought like Jesus had the power, but um, everybody failed to realize they all had the power, but they were depending on Jesus himself.
Ooh, that's deep right there. That's
Because
deep.
in religion, that the whole thing about it is they're saying look to him, but it's for guidance. I think it's you put so much pressure on Jesus himself, which it reflects in the movie. Like, okay, if Jesus was a ball player, he would still be Jesus, but he's a ball player. Like, but he still has all these pressures on him. And it's like, even though everyone's looking to him as this like savior to save them out the hood, save them out their problems, he himself is trying to save his sister. He's trying to figure out how to keep moving on in life without his mother and his father, and how to try and love your father even though he's the one that took away something that really gave you what you need and what you wanted. And that was like just pure love, like with an unconditional love, right? Because it's like uh, everybody had conditions with him, and we'll talk about that later. But I was just saying where I'm rooting it from. But it's like what everyone really needs is love and reassurance from people, but without the benefit of the like they're getting something out of it, you know. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. Everybody was saying, hey, What are you gonna do? Give me some intel. What's your decision? What you holding out on us? Different things like that. Um, I was trying to pick, forgiveness or redemption. I'll go with redemption because that's sort of kind of like a religious word, right? Jesus redeemed us, right? But I think, you know, Jesus Shuttlesworth and his father, I think, they definitely got some redemption in this movie. You know, I think that relationship was already, getting, you know, broken already, before the mom died. But then it was completely shattered after she died. And, we don't know what happened after the movie, right? But we think that they had a better relationship going forward, I would think. I don't know if it's going to be, the best father and son relationship, but I think, they both were redeemed in a way because he didn't have to go to Ball State. He could have went to UConn like the real Ray Allen did. Or he could have went straight out of high school. It, and I think that was a sign of him forgiving his father. But there was so many characters and you know um, players in this movie, and so many scenes that I just love. Um, do you have a favorite scene in the movie or a favorite character in the movie?
Oh, it was when they were having sex on the roller coaster. I was like, bro, that's crazy. Because I was like, when I was younger watching this, because I've only seen it a few times, I was like, I'm like, did I miss that part, or like was I not paying attention?
Oh my goodness!
They're just riding the roller coaster. Like, I don't know what, but I feel like I've never seen that scene before, and I was like, whoa, but lit.
Oh my goodness, that's hilarious. I I I wasn't expecting that. That's hilarious. Oh man. But yeah, I think I feel like with me there's too many favorite scenes for me to pick from. I love the basketball scenes, right? The ending, I mean, when they were playing 101, it was amazing. And I want to know how much of that was edited, because I feel like they were playing a real game and Spike Lee probably just, chopped up some stuff, but I feel like that was a real game, and they were trash talking.
Do you
And
know?
you could,
Mhm.
huh?
Rosie Perez was on the Breakfast Club. She did an interview and she has mentioned Spike Lee because she was in a bunch of Spike Lee films too. And she said that Spike Lee kind of gave them like free will a lot of time.
Yeah.
Like as long as you understand what he's going for, like he kind of gave you that. And I feel like
Yeah,
Denzel is a character that I think a lot of people do that. I
yeah, a
just
lot of improv.
Spike Lee and Denzel had like a dope relationship that they understood each other. But I think no matter what movie Denzel is in, I feel like he is that character. You kind of like you're like that's Denzel, but like no, that's that character though. He playing that character though. That's him too. But go
Yeah.
ahead. Sorry for interrupting.
Oh, it's okay. Uh, yeah, I think a lot of actors, you don't have to stick to the same lines on the script, and sometimes stuff comes out that it's not on the script, but it's even better than what was written. So I do agree with that. But yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of scenes that I dislike. That's probably why I like a lot of scenes. I was gonna mention, I like some of the scenes, the basketball scenes, because it's sort of like a symphony and opera and, orchestra is playing, So I liked it when they was in the park, And then I liked it when, he was like, yo, he didn't read us in the paper. And then, they went into decide the paper. I thought that was dope by Spike Lee. So that's one of my favorite scenes. I do like when they're introducing the starting five, when they're in the Lincoln Gym. And that's a popular New York school. A lot of New York ball players went to Lincoln. Um, I do like the drama. The drama, especially when it's not with Ray Allen, but it's with the little Jesus. I liked when they went because I love coming of age stories, and so I really enjoyed when they went back and forth into his childhood. When the mom was like Jesus, and then people were making fun of him. Just I mean Jesus. That was funny, and of course Denzel. I mean the young Denzel in the movie and the older one from jail, I mean, they look totally different. Still, you can tell they're a little different. The younger one is animosity a lot, But yeah, that scene where they're working out in the park together, I love that scene. So it's too many scenes to pick from. I just love the drama scenes and I love the basketball scenes. It's so hard to pick. Even the beginning where everybody around the world is playing basketball, I was like, oh my goodness, this is an awesome opening. And I noticed that Arthur Agee from Hoop Dreams, remember that movie? He was in the opening. I said, oh snaps, that was awesome. But do you have a favorite character in the movie? Was it, Ray Allen, who used to play for our Milwaukee Bucks? Shout out to Ray Allen, Jesus Shuttlesworth. Oh, yeah. Some people don't even call him Ray Allen. They just be like, what's up, Jesus? Or was it Denzel Washington, who was Jake Shuttlesworth? Or was it Rosario Dawson, who played Lala? Or was it Hill Harper, who played Coleman? Or was it Mila Jovovich, who played Dakota? And we know her from Resident Evil, right?
Oh, I was like, what is she from? I didn't know what she was from, but I was like, she is familiar.
Yeah.
That scene in Resident Evil, she's like, I'm not your mother.
Oh my goodness.
They all got on my nerves. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Probably like Mary was probably my favorite character.
Yeah, Mary.
She didn't get on my nerves. That's why she was my favorite character. And like when you're that kid, you were kind of like, dang, like nobody's telling me anything. Like I want to do, and that whole like I can't wait till I'm 18. Like that is like so like a kid thing. Like when I'm 18, I get to do what I want to do, and it's like, yep. And that's when you're gonna realize you should have never said that. It's just like Jesus is preserving her youth. Like, no, like stay young. And I think one of my favorite scenes was when they were in the room and she's kind of like, they had like a big brother, little sister moment because he's taking care of the household. He got to make sure the lights is on, that they got a nice roof over their head, not just any roof, because he could have stayed with the auntie and the cousin and the uncle. But he was like, he knows like that's not what he would want for his sister, and neither would his family, because if his dad was there, his mom was there, they would have their own space. So it was like he's still just upholding that thing. It's like, yeah, there's family, but like we still need our own. And so I think when they were sitting down having a real convo, that's what keeps like growth, and people are open to keep going on this journey together because you're like talking about it. So it's like he finally sat down and they just talked. And I think that's what gave him more of a soft spot to open up to his father. Because it's like, okay, this ain't just about me, it's about my sister too, you know. And if she can forgive, because she also lost her mother, but if she can forgive, even though she's dealing with that pain every day, you know, she at the house every day alone, you know. And so, yeah.
Yeah, we first saw her, you know, in Crooklyn. And Crooklyn's one of my favorite movies, you know. And her name is Zelda, which is interesting because that's a video game, I think. Zelda Harris, that's her name. So shout out to her because you know she's in two of my favorite movies. Wow. And you kind of wonder what happens in their careers, but I like that. Spike Lee could have picked some other person, but picked her. So that's good when you can maintain a good relationship. Um. Oh, and like you said about the relationship, I also think that's probably why he also went to college. Not, I think he did it for everyone. He did it for his mom because his mom was always talking about education, and he did it for Jake, because he could have went to any school, but he did it for Ball State, so he picked it for Jake. But he probably also did it for his little sister, setting a good example because she was talking about I could have anything I want. That's what the friends are telling her, and he could have easily went for the millions because back then you could go straight out of high school. You can't do it no more, but they are talking about possibly changing the rule back, but I don't know. But back then you could go straight from high school, like Kobe, but he got an education. We don't know how many years, but a lot of players, they might go for 2 years, but they'll come back later and get, finish their degree. But so last thing, we talked about, the characters. Oh, shout out to Rick Fox. Rick Fox was in there. And that made me think, hey, he was getting his acting on even before he retired. Um, oh, and shout out to all the players that was in it. I saw Shaq, Reggie Miller, George Karl, the coach, John Thompson, who's famous for, helping Allen Iverson with Georgetown. There was a lot of basketball legends in there. One of his teammates was a basketball player. I forgot his name. But, but you know who I did like? It's not my favorite character, but Booger. Wait, what's his name? Booger. Let me see. Who was the guy? Who was the dude that was always by Jesus and he was short? And then Denzel Washington was like, "Yeah, you look like you're grown," and he was like, "Really, really, Uncle Jake?" I think that was Hill Hopper. I mean, yeah, that was Hill Hopper, but now he looks much older. But I really liked him because he didn't really do anything wrong. He just ate at their house a lot. He just didn't grow. But I thought he was pretty cool. But now that we talked about the characters and the scenes, is there a theme that sticks out to you? Like redemption is a theme, basketball is a theme, education, the relationship between the father and son. But also, I do like how they were talking about, like you said, people were coming at him different directions. So there was his basketball coach asking, "Hey, you got any, news for me?" Even Lala, who, they had a relationship, but he could spot, something's fishy about you because, you're asking, "Hey, come meet with this agent." He's not supposed to be talking to him. But, and you're saying, "Oh, he's my brother." But then why are you sleeping with your brother? And I'm like, I feel for Lala because I do think girlfriends in high school do get left behind. You know, some. all high school sweethearts don't end up like Savannah James, LeBron James's wife. Some are left behind, and they had an abortion, and so it's so many relationships. There's father and son, brother and sister. There's girlfriend and boyfriend. Oh, there's the homies with your homies. Um, you know, so there's a lot of themes. Also, I forgot to mention Denzel's relationship with the hooker. That is another one. That's one relationship I didn't really care for. I was like, oh, I'll be on my phone now. Because I didn't really care, but I think they were trying to show us his compassion for women. Because, like, he went to jail for killing his wife, but that's not, if you just say that, that's not the whole context. It was an accident, an argument, it just went overboard. I'm talking too much. I'll give you the floor. Any particular topic, theme?
I would say that the sex worker was his redemption, because we think it was for his son, and maybe that's part of the journey. But when people go to prison, people expect them to have this one-on-one with themselves during that time, to understand that you did something wrong and this and that. But when you get a second chance at life, even for a little while, what are you going to do with that time? And are you going to just be messing around in these streets playing games? Or are you going to try and redeem yourself? Because sure, it was an accident, but his perception of women was the average of how people view not just Black women, but women in general. He viewed her as what women's supposed to do. You supposed to have that food in that oven warmed up for me. I'm supposed to be hard on my son specifically, because the world gonna be hard on him. So he might as well understand it now from me. That bullcrap mentality is still in him, because that same mentality goes hand in hand with how you treat your women. He kept trying to prove points to people that didn't matter. No, he didn't have a big crowd of people like his son, and maybe that's why that's part of the envy. You're envious of your son because he has a real shot of doing something you gave up on. He gave up on it. They didn't say what happened to him and why he couldn't continue to play. It could be that average, how many people really make it to the NBA. He kind of fell in that average of people who don't make it. And so even though he's like, no, that's his father, he should be proud of him. Look at him. He's outside with him every day. Look, he's with him, right? It's like, but look how he's treating him. Who cares if it's a 2-parent household if the parents are treating the kids like crap? Who cares if it's just one parent treating them like crap, the other one's allowing it? You're doing the same thing, but you're not. It's a good cop, bad cop. I'd rather a person have 1-parent household and that child gets love that they deserve than a 2-parent where the kid has resentment toward one. And so you don't know fully. You look at how you're being raised and you're going to replicate that. So, no. Yeah, it was an accident, but he's been pushing over on her long enough. Not physically, but verbally. And your ego is what got her out of here. Not the son, not the daughter, not the white man, not the system. You did. Because your ego pushed her to the edge. Now, I feel like it was flipped. Like, we know Jesus was sacrificed, but I think it was kind of like playing on that. What if Mary was the one that got sacrificed and Jesus had to continue? We see that we're like, oh, Mary, she had to go on and because her son was gone, right? We know that narrative. We're living in it. But if we lived in that just for a little while story of if it was reversed, if his mother was the sacrifice. And so I think the mother lived, I think part of Mary's name is through her mother because it's like she's kind of she's living on her mom's legacy. And so instead of Jesus fighting for his mother, he's fighting for his sister. And then I did want to talk about the system because it's like, this shows you like in the Black world, if you decide to tamper with the Black world, you'll see that you could do right, you could be on the right path to redeem yourself, and you'll still will be treated like garbage almost. Like the dad was able to get out of prison only because the system all of a sudden can allow people to come out of prison. Now we see that happen all the time. People get out of jail, do crazy. But if we don't just overlook that part, you can see that, oh no, it's a game being played. They saying they have the power to tamper with the system to get their own game. Right?
Right.
Like the Black guy, the Black boy who he ended up taking himself out. This was years ago, but they did a documentary on him, and he wasn't even the right kid that they were looking for. But they messed him up psychologically when they put him in that cage. People think, oh, prison, oh, they're done. You'll never see them again. But if someone uses their power, it's like, well, why can't they do that if they look deeper into all these prisons, why can't they look to see, okay, maybe, yeah, he should be in there or she should be in there, but that motherfucker shouldn't be there, And so I think that was the part, I think at the end really made me upset because they were like, well, technically you didn't do it. It's like, but if they missed the big part though, if he never got out to even restart this relationship, I doubt he would have even looked at that other school for real. His mind was probably set on a whole nother school. I mean, look, two of those girls was at the bedroom door, ready. Temptation. It shows when Jesus was also tempted, right? But he dove right up in that water. Okay? Jesus too makes mistakes, is what they showing you as well. Right. But when you have this gift or this power to change your life and change other people's paths, how are you gonna handle that, right? And his relationship with Lala, it probably was this like bliss, greatness at first. But when that heavy challenge approached them both, she decided to listen to somebody who she loved, she thought she could trust, and thought like they would have them. She thought he would be like, yeah, just let's bring this kid in the world and we'll figure it out. But he didn't know, he's already struggling he's like, look, I'm barely taking care of me and my sister. Right? So then it's like, but it's still her choice at the end of the day, though. But she didn't realize she had that power because even though he's saying this, he could say that, but he's not the one carrying that child. So now she done made a sacrifice for somebody who is only looking out for his future. Yeah, he's doing right by his sister and he's taking care of them, but he still could be a dickhead. He still could be making selfish choices because he's not carrying that baby. He don't understand what's going on. But she still had the power to say, you know what? No, I'm going to keep this baby. But now she holds resentment, so it's easier for her to go step out. It ain't, and I like that they kind of like spun that in at the end, because if you're just outside looking in, you like, oh, she cheating on him. She don't care about him. She just want him for the money. But it was like, no, she already gave something up, but he wasn't willing to give anything up. And so she feels like, well, why should I be loyal to you if you can drop me like a hat? You know what I mean? But that's pretty much it. Oh, the system. I want to go back to that quick because it was like them tying in the whole narrative of like in slavery when they separated the black men, you know, from the families. The black women had to carry the family. I feel like they had the system had a time to redeem itself too. Because they could have said, you know what, let's bring this family together. You know, keep them on probation for a few, whatever, right? But have him in community, so get him, make sure he's on, whatever. But I think just deciding to like keep him in prison, even though he was on his word, you know, kept his word. He didn't do nothing crazy. He was allowing himself to be loved again, even if it was for one night only, you know what I mean? But I think, but the system failed everybody. Okay, that's it. That was my rant.
That was very deep about the system, about Lala. Covered everything. That's why you must go to Road to William after this. That deep analysis. What you know people think about but they don't talk about. That's why you gotta go to the Road to William. But I do like that you talked about Lala because, yeah, some people might say, you know, she's, you know, cheating. I feel like they both were cheating and they weren't communicating. And even at the, like, bench, I feel like Jesus wasn't really communicating with her, saying, "Oh, that wasn't hard for me." But she didn't know the future if you know she was gonna be left in the dust. You know, I I would have kept the baby because a lot of people, you know, that's 18 years of, you know, a check, you know. So even if it doesn't work out, you still got the baby. I'm just saying, I'm just saying. But, you know, and you know, and she was even at the press conference, and, you know, nodding her head, you know. But yeah, oh, and the system, yeah. the, the, the guy looked kind of nervous when he said it. We need some time.
Yeah,
I was like,
we need
time. And he's like, I ain't got nothing but time.
And that too, like, oh, don't you have to do is sign something on a piece of paper, Goofy? Hello.
And
you got somebody. He got nerves.
They haven't heard from the governor or something, and that was the reason why he was even out, because the governor wanted him to go to Ball State. And, you know, people just using each other. I do think that maybe Jesus can even put pressure on him. He could say, hey, Where's my father? I'm playing for this school. Where is he? I don't see him. I'm gonna transfer. Or I'm gonna just go, to the NBA after this because you didn't do what you said. You could have had me for 4 years or 2 years or 3 years. Now it's gonna be one because you didn't hold on your end of the bargain. I'm going to the NBA now after this year, or I'm transferring because where my dad at? And I also liked what you said about the relationships with the mother Martha and the father Jake. I realized, what if that, because you were saying like Jake wasn't really the best husband and Martha probably wasn't really standing her ground and being the best mom, being the good cop, bad cop. What if the death never happened? But what if, Mary grew up seeing that? She would have said, oh, is this how a husband is supposed to act? Is this how a mother supposed to act? It would have been bad on her too, with her parents doing that. And she probably would have saw some of the things Jake was doing to the mom verbally or, pushing her, so, because she was so young, she doesn't probably. Any of that. So I was like, what if? But yeah, and you were relating it to Jesus, and those were some good points too. Yeah, there were so many themes, there were sexual themes, getting your freak on. I definitely fast forward when he's at the college because, I'm like, they're saying the name Jesus and they're doing the nasty. I want to think of Jesus as, my savior. I don't want to have that image, that noise, so I fast forward. And then I think about how, I don't know if there were twins or just I don't know. But I'm thinking, do they do this to every athlete? And it's not just basketball athletes, it's NFL athletes. I mean, football, baseball. How do you not catch anything? Because I imagine those girls are specifically for the athletes. Like, hey, recruitment's on the way. Come on here, ladies. But um, now I lost my train of thought. There was a lot of themes. There was fatherhood, right? Of course, basketball, family. Oh, I forgot to even mention Uncle Bubba. Even Bubba was like, I hear things, and Jake's like, I'm gonna take care of you and Sandy. Cause and Sandy was like, he does not speak for me. And then he was like, go get your butt in the room. I said, oh my goodness, that's why he don't want Mary living there. Cause Uncle Bubba butt. Oh, but and huh?
The movie reminded me of The Cookout because it gave like a funnier version of He Got Game. Because you got the corny little cousin, the auntie, the family. Instead of the uncle, they kind of flipped that role. Like instead of the uncle being money hungry, it's the mom, and she trying to push her son to play ball, and the boy, I want to play ball. So it gave me that. It kind of gave me like the funny version of that. Maybe that's what they took it from, but
yeah, it was like everybody at the cookout. It definitely had racism in there too, just like this movie, moving into a white neighborhood, and this dealt with racism in well, basketball players do still deal with racism, because they're used, they're talented, but the white man who runs the colleges and then the NBA, they want to use you, and also the prison system, hey, you're not holding up your end of the bargain. And then they said he escaped. They blamed it on him in the papers. Yeah, he escaped. That's why he was out. Well, now that you made up a story about how he escaped, what story are you going to write if you actually hold up your end of the bargain? So are you not going to hold up your end of the bargain? Because you said in the newspaper that he escaped. Oh my goodness. And I'm like, why did they have to do that? Well, Jim Brown, yeah, you told me that that was Spivey. Because I was like, who's Spivey? Oh, the cop. The cops were funny too. I feel like everybody had their little funniness to them, you know? Um, and why they had to do him like that? He didn't want his son to see him handcuffed. He thought he could have it right here, but they said, no, hands behind your back. Why you gotta humiliate the guy? Come on. Hasn't he suffered enough? And yet I feel like he is better. It it does pain me that the mother had to die. Sometimes it's like you gotta go through bad things in order to get it right. But why does there have to be a sacrifice to get it right? Why can't you just get it right? But no, sometimes bad things happen and then you're like regretting it. Then you learn from it. And I do like what he said. Get that hatred out your heart. Even if he didn't go to Ball State, I do feel like forgiveness and redemption was a part of this because I feel like some of that anger and hatred for his father did get out of his heart. I don't know if it completely did, but I feel like it did. Um. Oh, one more thing. That basketball scene at the end where he's like, "Hey, don't you move or I will shoot," and he throws the ball over there, and then it magically appeared in Ball State. I'm thinking to myself, well, what does that symbolize? Like, does it symbolize forgiveness? Or I was thinking when he was a child, he did throw the ball over the fence. He couldn't find it, and then that's when the whole argument happened at the table, and then that's when the dad died. I thought, well, maybe that was a transfer over to, like, okay, all is, I mean, the mom's not coming back, but I felt like that was a sort of, and he smirked at the end, like, huh, like it was a sign of, like, things will be cool between them now, and hey, look, I found the ball, no need to worry. What do you, did you think of that? Is it some type of symbolism?
I feel like it connects that scene to the end because when Jesus threw that ball over the gate, he gave up on his relationship. He gave up on his childhood almost. And so him throwing that ball back, I like that scene when he went out of bounds and he was damn near about to die just to make sure he can give back to his son. And like, I can't give you much, but even though I'm not there, this basketball, no matter what ball it is, it don't have to be a specific, but, just know anytime a ball is around, I'm around.
Wow. Nailed it. That is
Funny, dog.
that was perfect. That was perfect. Anytime ball's around, I'm around. Hey, I can't give you much, but here's that ball. Whoa, that's deep. Telling you guys, I'm telling you deep. Well, I want to say thank you, Cuzzo, for joining me. And also, like, comment, and subscribe. Tell me your favorite character, favorite scene. Bill Walton was in there, R.I.P. him. Charles Barkley, Michael Jordan, was in there. Robin Roberts made Dick Vitale, because it was like that news thing, the news segment. So that was cool. But yeah, and also, guys, make sure you go to the Road to William. Check out a lot of videos. They're really dope.
Thank you, Cuzzo. Thanks for having me on. Like, comment, subscribe for basketball and basketball show.
And stay balling. Swish.